Hey, I'm Scott, and I'm from Sharist, and Sharist is a content marketing platform, helps online marketers with everything about content marketing, capturing ideas, scheduling and sharing to social media, creating pages for blog posts, email newsletters. A lot of things that I talk about in this presentation you can do with Sharist, and lots of other tools out there. That's about the only time I'll mention Sharist specifically, but just keep that in mind. A lot of these things we enable with Sharist, and I see a lot of people being successful through automation and outsourcing as our customers, and some of these things I'd like to share with you. So I'm guessing that a lot of you in here are one-person operations, whether it's your entire business or whether you're an individual single person in a department in a company. And this is usually how my days go, and probably yours too. And you plan one thing, and then the day starts, and things happen, and it all goes awry. And you tend to do the urgent things and instead of the important things. And there's another thing of how that tends to happen. And as a person who's running a business, you can do anything. I mean, we, as business owners, can do all the things, but we can't do everything necessarily. And so you need to prioritize and figure out how to do the urgent and routine things more efficiently so you can do the important things that really help you grow your business. And that's what we're going to talk about. And if you don't do those things, this is your blog. Dead blog. So first, automate. So this is Rosie the Robot. Jetsons, anybody? So you should be spending your time and energy as much as possible automating routine tasks instead of doing those routine tasks. If you got something you're doing 10 minutes a day, it doesn't feel like a lot of time, but they add up. If you spend 2 hours automating that so you don't have to do that at all, it doesn't take much time to make up that 2 hours. So that's the idea here. But it's work to automate stuff, and that's, I think, where people probably fall short. What can you automate? Things like that I call cookbook activities, stuff that's just, you go down a list of things to do, you do it over and over again, it's boring, and you probably don't want to do it. Complicated routines that are lots of keystrokes, lots of mouse clicks, things that they're maybe not as boring, but they're complicated, and you just don't want to do them. So think about, as you're doing your daily work, what's the stuff that you do over and over again in repetition? These are the things that you should think about automating. Here's an example of something that you should be automating, which is scheduling posts to your blog and to Twitter and social media. And work on a posting schedule and an editorial calendar. And instead of just posting things when they come up, post social media posts at specific times. Twitter, pick 5 times a day, post 5 things. Facebook, maybe 2 things on your Facebook page a day. And post your blog post based on an editorial calendar. So stop sharing in real time and start to fill up a queue of posts. The stuff that you're finding and sharing with your audience is probably not that urgent. It's going to be interesting next Wednesday just as well as it's interesting today. So fill up your content schedule by using tools like Buffer and Hootsuite and Sharist, and you can schedule things out. Once you fill up that base of content, as you find really cool stuff and maybe it is important and newsworthy, then post those real time. But keeping to a schedule, you're allowing your audience to rely on you, with a consistent schedule, and they know when to expect content from you. A couple of automation tools that I'd suggest you take a good look at. IFTTT, it stands for if, this, then, that, and Zapier are 2 tools that are very similar. They take online applications and kind of tie them together. So, things like Instagram or Pinterest and Twitter and Facebook and WordPress, and so you can set up what are called recipes typically. So if there's a thing that you always do or always wish you could do, but it's just too much of a pain, you can set up recipes to do those things. So for example, if every time you post to Instagram, you want that image to be copied to your Dropbox so you can use it in a WordPress blog, or if every time you post to Pinterest, you want that to be tweeted out automatically. These tools allow you to do those sorts of things. Setting up those recipes can be a little complicated, not too much, but what's great is that if you go check them out, there are lists and lists and lists of recipes that people have already created. And so not only is what you want to do probably there, but there's just hundreds of things that you didn't even imagine that you should be doing, and you can just set these things up. So check out those two tools. And workflow tools like on your desktop, doing a lot of routine stuff. Think about using keyboard macro scripts like Alfred and Keyboard Maestro. These are Mac products, but Windows has similar tools, so that if you're constantly going through the same routine, maybe you need when you post a WordPress blog and you go and edit it and you fill out these same fields over and over and over again, you can set up keyboard macros for those things. And so not so much automation from routines, but automating data capture and collection. There are APIs available. Products and coupon data come from just about every network out there, like ShareASale and CJ. And there are tool providers like Prosperant and For Me to Coupon that take the network's feeds and make them better and aggregate them and make that information available. APIs are technical and require development skills, but if you're not a programmer yourself, you can hire one, and that's kind of in the next section talking about outsourcing. What is not complicated and actually very easy and makes things super easy is using linking tools. Like you've probably heard of Scheme Links and VigLink, and there's another one. Prosperant also has linking tools. So instead of having to go and create a link in a network, find the merchant, join the merchant program if you're not in that program with whatever product you're promoting on your site. All you have to do is link to it. And with a plugin from one of these three tools on your website, the linking happens automatically. So you don't have to worry about joining programs, creating affiliate links. It's all automatic. And so that's great for a couple of reasons. Those things are probably stopping you from writing more blog posts because those extra steps of creating those links can be complicated. An objection to those is that they take a percentage of the commissions that you might have otherwise earned. And but if you are saving a ton of time and posting more content, it's just you can consider it just a fee for using such a great service. So you should check those out especially if you're promoting or reviewing or talking about products on your websites. All right, so that's the automation part. Let's see how we're doing for time. I haven't seen anybody finish in 18 minutes. So outsourcing, right? So you can't do everything, but you have, so how are you going to do that? You're going to get some help. Now, what should you outsource? There are lots of things that you should outsource, and there's lots of things that you shouldn't. But here's a list of, from a content and marketing standpoint, some of the things that you can definitely outsource. Content discovery and curation, finding interesting stuff that you're going to share with your audience. If you need to fill your social media queue with 20 things a week, that's some work that you could do, or you could have somebody for a very small amount of money find things for you and not post them because they're not necessarily great stuff that you want to post, but they can fill up a queue that you can review and have all that stuff available to you. Content creation, maybe a little less likely that you want to outsource that, but you can find great writers depending on but you want to make sure that you find people who have your voice and obviously language and the technical skills. You can hire editors and so piece all these things together, find people to do the writing, find people to do the editing, set it all through a process, creating summaries and recap posts. You share 30 great things a week. On Friday, you can pull all those things together into a recap email and post and send that out. But in general, just repetitive tasks that can't or shouldn't be automated, you can outsource to somebody. Technical tasks and programming is another just separate area. Using those APIs, you can find there are thousands and thousands of people just waiting to develop tools and products for you based on API tools and to do anything you need. So some tips. I have built 2 businesses with outsourcing, mostly development. and learned a lot the hard way. There's a lot of great tools for finding people to do work for you: Elance, Odesk, Rent-A-Coder, MTurk, which is Mechanical Turk, which is an Amazon service where you can get a bunch of little tiny routines done by people that you just have no relationship with at all. It's kind of an automated outsourcing. There are inexpensive workers and there are more costly workers, and in general, my recommendation is if you know the job better than the worker, then you can probably afford to have a more inexpensive one, because you can keep an eye on it. You know if they've done a good job, you can give feedback. But if it's a skill that you don't possess, like accounting or something that you can't look at and know if they did it right or wrong, that's when you're going to want to spend some more money on people to do the work. Different countries have different cultures and different types of workers, different work ethics, different working styles and writing styles. Test workers from different countries and see which one best meets your skills. It's really fascinating to see the vast differences in the types of work you get out of different countries. Don't outsource too much. Wait till you find someone that you trust before you let them do the critical stuff, like pushing that send button or pushing that publish button. Leave that last step for yourself. Until you find someone that you can trust. And what's great about outsourcing platforms, you can just hire people over and over again, find somebody that's really great. And a goal is to find somebody who is really good and who can do the whole thing, and you begin to trust them and build a relationship, and they can start to do the things that you can let go and let them do publishing and things, and even be your voice and do writing. But what I see happening out is that the most successful people and the people who start to expand into getting multiple people doing work for them is to get that first person to know everything and outsource the outsourcing to them. So you just give that person the work and give them the responsibility. Find somebody who can hire other people, train them, dole out the work, so you don't have to do any of that stuff. Because outsourcing is more work. You're managing people, so you can outsource that too. So then there's stuff that you should do yourself. So we've freed up all this time, and now what are we going to do with all this time? We're going to do the important stuff that's going to grow our business. And these are things like epic content. You should be creating blog posts that are just really long and full of information and stuff that you can spend weeks writing. And if you've got all the other stuff happening daily in a more automated way, you can spend time on creating a really great piece of content, because that's the content that's going to get shared or go viral, hopefully. Spend time connecting with influencers and thought leaders in your industry. Find them, connect with them on Twitter, talk to them directly with their handles, and interact with your audience as well through yourself, and just make those connections, and that's going to grow your audience. You can do the training and the automating, and so you have time to do those things as well. So here's an example of just a bunch of things that we do at my company from a content marketing standpoint, and putting it all together. Some of these things can be outsourced, some can be automated, and some, collecting and capturing ideas, outsourced, and automated too. There are tools that just make recommendations for you, and you can fill up your queue quickly with those sorts of things. Scheduling a week's worth of social posts, that's automation. Creating curated posts for your own websites, that can be outsourced. That might be getting into something you want to do yourself. Creating great content, we talked about that. That's the stuff we do ourselves. Interacting with your audience, again, doing it yourself until you find somebody who can be that for you. And create a recap post on Friday, which can be completely automated by clicking some buttons and pulling in a bunch of content together. You do all that stuff, you have a happy blog. I talked fast. I'm done. Any questions? Well, Well, I'm here after if you have any questions about the stuff I talked about, and I'll be around all week. Yep.
I have a question on your work on content discovery and curation. Can you just talk about how you go about outsourcing that specifically?
Outsource. How do you outsource the curation
And the content discovery.
and the discovery? So the idea is that with curation is you're finding other people's content to share, right? And that's time consuming and it's stuff you should be doing yourself. So what you can do is set up a repository, a place where multiple people can save stuff to. Bookmarking tools, there's lots of them out there. So have someone filling those queues up, not doing the sharing part, just capture it and then do stuff with that content. And if you can capture this great stuff, then you can use it over and over again for social media, create blog posts out of it, recap posts, all sorts of different things you can do with that curated content. Who are here first?
So, I'm actually an advertiser, but see, one of the I know a little niche that's happening right now, like keeps happening. So as soon as the story comes out, so we do the same thing for line, rights will apply, right? That's not my specialty. But you don't know about the back in the giants that call that pass. So as soon as you call that pass, you made a blog, instantly create the product on the spot, sure, pull the pass. Right? Fly backwards and sold like 1,000 shirts within like 72 hours, right? So I'm looking to go with that side. I'm looking to do something right? And sometimes you go to these people on Odesk, freelance, right? They can't even talk to you or Skype, right? And they say they can write. And I'm like, are you sure you're not going to outsource this? Like, so what would you say are some of the tips to get it right?
It's just like hiring, and you can give them some test work. You can act. So the question is, what's the process for making sure you find good writers and good outsourced help to make sure that they can do the work that you want to do? Again, it's just like hiring. Somebody. Go through an interview process. Make it simple. Ask for a portfolio, sample work, but in the end, it can all be faked, I guess. So just have some test work ready. I had it on that slide. Hire slow, fire fast. If they don't work out, fire them. I mean, that's just the way. That's the way that works, and it's really not a problem.
What's your problem? I just also that concept of working products on the spot.
Yeah, newsjacking is a huge opportunity for capturing quick hit on traffic. And if you can see that happen, that pass that was caught and a T-shirt was made and all this, and you can get somebody to do all those things. That's a great way to get some quick traffic. You got a question? Yeah, the question is, what do I think about Fiverr? Fiverr's amazing. It is such a great tool. You can get so much done there for just a little bit of money, and people blows my mind the stuff that I've been able to get out of Fiverr. Mostly graphics work I do, but people get everything you can get done on Fiverr.
Just because when I try to find like a writer, it's kind of like he can be compared to who has to.
Yeah, I mean that is quick hit things is great for Fiverr. If you're building a process and you want to build somebody who knows your business, that's not going to be Fiverr. That's going to be finding somebody on one of the freelance sites. But thanks, I should have mentioned Fiverr.
Hey, what are you using to manage your projects?
Are you a shill? Because my company is Sharist, and that's what I use to manage our products. So thanks for that plug.
I'm actually meaning you're talking project management, right?
You create projects in Sharist. You can invite in people, collaborators. The writers can come in, do the capturing and curating in there, do writing and create pages, edit them, and push it all out from one place.
Yeah, but our clients also interact with you in that.
Yep, the clients can go in as well and take a look at what's going on, do some approving if that's necessary, so that the clients can get involved too.
Okay.